Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome to Smart Men's Business. It's the 24th of February, and of course, yet another business day as we coming. That is to the end of the week. How has been your week? How has it been like? How has the business been really passing in through? Well, I know sometimes every person has their own experience regarding how the week has gone when it comes to managing your business, but definitely we anticipate that everything will be okay just in case it didn't really transpire out. It's a Friday, of course. We're heading to a weekend. Time to get back to relax and get to understand, feel the life, have the life. But of course, definitely, despite the fact that you're heading to do that, you need to ensure that you think about the coming days and reflect on the past days. See what really didn't go right. Try to rectify it at the end of the day. That will really boost up your productivity. Well, I'm Andrew Barija. And of course, we are here to drive your business. But of course, before we kick start off this, don't forget to buy bonds and securities with Zabu. As you just there, start tonight to hash, and you'll be availed with quite a number of options. And of course, among those options, it could be government bonds or company stocks. So you can choose what really works for you. Much more perfect, and you go by that. Start tonight to hash, and the magic will be just right there. And with as little as 15,000, that is Ugandan shillings, you can be able to get yourself, these shares. And the markets open at 8:15 a.m. and they close at exactly 3:15 p.m. Zabu, my money, my future. And definitely, we are always going to be, there is no way you can fail to really transact your business efficiently. And of course, the markets are operational Monday to Friday, and on public holidays, the markets don't work as compared to also the weekends at the same time. Well, now getting straight to what is making headlines in the world of business. Let's start with a press review and get to see what is really happening in here in the country, and what is that and what can you make use of it. Now, of course, starting with the new vision, here we get to see that it's the school's hike. That is the S5 cutoff points. That is, of course, on the top page of the new vision. And of course, we're looking at President Museveni tips. Tips are surely on development and wealth. Well, let us take a look inside here and see what is really in here. Now, of course, we see that there is a family that wants justice for a murdered doctor in here. As before we get into what we previewed on our first page. And also we see the aspect of the United Nations Security Council resolution that is on Democratic Republic of Congo. What does it really, of course, involve into it? Definitely, you'll be catching up the details of the story just in here. Now looking at the S5 selections as top schools tighten entry points, and more learners have been admitted regarding that. Well, yeah, that is quite tight for, that moment for those that are actually headed to senior 5. Well, it's can be really very frustrating in a way. Okay, now still looking in here, we see the aspect of Museveni tipping actually on development and wealth. President Yoweri Museveni has kicked off his first visit, that is to the 18 zones in Equally sub-region, emphasizing that agitating for infrastructure and of course infrastructure development, which will never translate into individual wealth creation. Well, that is more of the story. You can really catch it up in there. Museveni tipping actually on wealth and development. Okay, now still into here, we see that government confirms 1,300 teachers and of course and other staff in a way. Now the government has confirmed that is the appointment of 1,309. That is teaching and non-teaching personnel in 8 various secondary schools and tertiary institutions that is across the country. Now, the confirmation of the appointment is contained. Contained in a notice by the Education Service Commission that is on February 14th. Now you can check out more of the details of that story in there. Okay, now of course looking at quite lots in here. Of course, different advertisers in here, and now of course we see an article here that says farmers are to purchase own fertilizers. That is using the parish development model cash. Well, I guess could be something very interesting to check out, because the parish development model is something that is on literally every person's lips. So that could be something very, very amazing to check out. Farmers to purchase own fertilizers using PDM cash. Okay. Now still looking at some sort of more advice here, as we see Mufti Sheikh Shaban, and of course advising on education. What does he have to say regarding this? Well, you'll be checking out that. Probably could be you could get something that can be really amazing for you to check out in a way. Okay, as well, we're still moving in here. As of course in the comment section, we're looking at the police crime report, and of course they say the devil is in detail. Well, you'll be checking out all that. What is really happening in there. Now, also looking at how National Water and Sewage Corporation can curb bill inflation. I mean, talking about high prices in a way. Now, of course, rates at which the fees charged when you're really paying for the water bills in a way. Okay. Now, still in the comment laters, we're looking at closing. Lent is time to examine ourselves. Of course, for the Christians in there, it's the Lent time. But just right now, let's get into our very first update, and definitely when I return, shall be analyzing that. Good morning.
So I was talking about PIS, the passion, the information, and the systems. If you get it right in that area, forget about those P's, the 8 P's you studied. If any business you start, or you think about starting, first make sure that you love that business. And that is the passion. That will provide an underlying intrinsic push to always make things happen in that business. If you don't have passion, if you're not passionate about what you are doing or what you are starting, you'll be doing it for the sake of it.
I need some volume here.
So passion is key. Information. I said the PIS. Information. In whatever you do, before you start, you don't say that Wilda is doing a business of, say, honey, and she's doing well. Let me also go and start the business of honey. No, you are wrong. Don't do things because others are doing and they're doing well. No. First, understand that project you want to undertake. Get information about raw materials, about the market, about the legislation. What is the legislation about that project you are going to do? So many things. What is the international outlook, regional outlook? How is the international world order going to impact on that project? Get a lot of information. The customers, that market, the channels. After getting that information, you'll be able to do your business successfully. Remember, passion was the first thing. Now, after that passion, and you have got all the information you need, the last one is the systems. Many a time, and you agree with me, that businesses have not lived till the 5th. Many businesses in Uganda don't celebrate the 5th birthday. Why? Because of systems. After understanding, having valuable information in your business, the next thing you need to do is to look for systems you are going to employ in your business, such that even if you are not around, even if you've gone for a holiday, that business you will run as though you were around. But the biggest problem we have, we don't think about systems, and when we are away, businesses get problems. Today, you might think that Meta is around, you might think that Madivan is around, you might think that Tata is around. But for sure, these guys, the original people, are long gone. But what they started lives on. Why? Because of systems. So, my sisters, alternative financing. This is alternative financing. The moment you get what I'm talking about and you employ it, you are going, first of all, to make your businesses efficient. You are going to run your businesses efficiently. And when you run your businesses efficiently, you are going to minimize costs associated with the businesses. You are going to maximize returns. Now, when you maximize returns, that means you are going to have your own capital generated. Instead of going to banks to borrow and you borrow at a cost, by your actions in your businesses, you are going to have returns that are going to form part of your capital to be reinjected. So, wherever I go, both internally in the country, outside the country, this is the crusade I'm taking. Women and youth, let us learn how to manage our businesses. We go to banks to borrow because we have failed to take care of the hygiene factors in our businesses, to control losses, to control. There's a lot of money we spend in our businesses which we shouldn't have spent, which we should have saved to add on our capital to be reinjected, and then we prosper. That is key.
How can you run a successful business? That is Rashid Musisi Semande. He's an expert from Centenary Bank, and of course advising the different stakeholders how best can they run their businesses. Some of the factors he touched on, or what they mentioned was passion being one of the key factors that really drives the business to a success that you can, unimaginable success. You need to have the passion of what you're doing. Don't do something for the sake of doing. Don't do something for the sake of finishing it. So do it because you have the passion, you feel it at heart, and in that way, you'll be in position to see success into your business. And maybe some other aspect is the information and systems, which are also key factors of success. Now, systems, this can come back to something that is beyond your own control. Probably depending on the country that you're in, it will sometimes determine how successful you're going to be. It's very interesting that sometimes actually the environment, the systems the environment has set up play a role to how successful you're going to be. You could be passionate about something, you could be really diligent at what you're doing, but at the end of the day, you may not be really yet experiencing what you think that you should be experiencing. Why? The environment and the systems that are running the environment probably are known in your favor. In that way, that is going to affect the way the rate of success within your business. So that has a role it plays, by the way. So it's good to understand that, but I'm not saying it should discourage you from doing what you ought to do. Of course, you need to be really working so hard, and the business will definitely move on very, very, very perfect. And also other factors, we also looked at the aspect of how can you control losses. That is something which is also of great importance. How you control them determines how far you're going to really maximize the profits. You control the losses, you maximize the profits. If you don't do that, at the end of the day, it's going to be a pretty tough journey for you in regarding to how you can handle the business. And he talked about spending on unnecessary materials. Sometimes we spend money on materials that are not really necessary, and at the end of the day, you find that things are not really balancing up very well. Well, at this very time now, let's get straight to review what's really happening in the traffic atmosphere as we are observing just right there. That is at Kira Road Junction. That's where we're observing that, and we're observing the street in there. You see some little bit of a congestion in there. That is Ntinda Bukoto Road. Yeah, for the people that are of course coming from those areas. In most cases, every Friday there is such a heavy congestion. It's always really anticipated, as you can observe in there. Now those are the vehicles that are coming from Ntinda, and of course they are connecting towards, of course some are heading to going to connect to the Lugogo bypass, which is just the road that cuts through from that road heading there. Some are connecting to Kira Road, you know. Yes, so that is the traffic atmosphere. So definitely the personnel that are staying in those areas, probably for those that are in those places, you're coming from Tinda, you're coming from Koto, and probably you're coming to town. You're probably heading to Nakawa, you're probably heading to Lugogo to execute the business that you want to execute. You can really get to see that the situation is a little bit, it's mild. Of course, if you take a look there, you can see the vehicles moving. But the most amazing thing is that once they are held into the jam, if they are held just like this, you find that there is quite a very heavy fleet of them in there moving. So that is something that we are observing in here. Of course, the traffic officers in full control, the traffic atmosphere in there. So that's what we are really looking at. And in most cases, many people definitely attribute the traffic officers to be the main causes of jam and congestion. Sometimes they don't. Now we can see a border that wasn't really respecting the rules. It's just being held there. And by the way, some of these incidences really cause this congestion, because the havoc. You know, many people surrounding there. You find that I think he was trying to drive on one way, trying to get the opposite. I mean, that wasn't realistic. I don't know what he was trying to really do. It's so crazy. Sometimes you gotta be very patient as you're driving on the road. Well, that is the situation we are observing now. We can see the vehicles that are heading to Ntinda Koto, and most of these are coming from Kira Road. Let's take a look at that. And now for the people that are probably you're staying in those areas, and probably you're planning to pass by the Kira Road junction, you're heading to Koto Ntinda, it's always a free lane. It's always a free lane in most cases, you know, for the people that are connecting to this lane and they're heading to Koto. Probably you're staying in areas like Mulago, you're staying in areas like even Kamucha, and you're planning to pass connecting there. It's very, very free. Unlike those that are coming from Bukoto, from Ntinda Bukoto, and they're heading towards town, that can be a little congested. Now you can still see the vehicles are held, but there is not really a heavy fleet as compared to the previous road that we observed. So that makes it a little friendly and very efficient in terms of crossing. Of course, in the observation, we also take a look at school. Of course, students, are going back to school, and some of them cross these roads heading in there, and that way the vehicles have to be put on hold to let these youngsters cross the roads and head to where they're supposed to head. So that really explains what we are observing in this scenario. Now the ones we're observing, and of course coming from the Lugogo bypass, some are held in there, that road, and now motorcycles not so really as congested at this junction. Of course, there are many, but not so many as that. There are many, but not congested. There is a difference as compared to other routes as we are observing. Now we're looking at those vehicles at that very street. Of course, that road that is connecting, that is adjacent to the Lugogo bypass. That route adjacent to the Lugogo bypass is what we're observing. And there are quite many vehicles in there, but they are not held. Of course, they are held at the same times as others are held, but in most cases, just in most cases, it's not really heavy fleet. And if you're coming from probably Lugogo and you plan to connect to this road, of course, the Lugogo bypass, you can see that it's a little okay. Yeah, they have been released, but it's not really that much congested as such. There is and one of the aspects that you observe is the spacing within the vehicles also explains. Now you see they have just been released, but now you don't see now they are literally down in that way. Just of course held for short intervals, but you see it's now quite free. Now looking at the very route that heads to Lugogo, we can see now those we're observing have been majority 90% are coming from Tinda-Koto Road. Now they're connecting to that road, but you can see it's quite free. Now for those definitely that are connecting to Nakawa, you're heading to Lugogo and you're going to use that junction, you get to realize and observe that it's a little, of course the Lugogo bypass is free, but you're going to be held in the fast traffic lights on the Tinda-Koto Road, and that is going to limit you, in case you have a very urgent appointment, it may not be really very, very appropriate for you to really reach there. So get to understand which route can you use so that you can run to execute the business very well. And of course, if you're working, it's very important that you keep the time, which route to use. That it's going to enable you reach work faster in time. Well, it's exactly 7 a.m. and now let's get into a short break. We shall be returning with what's really happening around the East African region and the international scene in the world of business. Good morning.